Red Hood, who is now on the Justice League, is about to battle Medusa. But in order to understand where we got here, let's explain the team. Red Hood, Artemis, and Bizarro are all working together as the Outlaws. They were the dark trinity of the DC universe. Well, after messing up in the eyes of Batman, Red Hood offered his team to become the Justice League for 1 month, filling in for the Justice League to show that they are in fact good guys. That led them to follow a case in which Medusa seems to be turning various individuals into stone. During this period, Red Hood and Artemis have begun their relationship, and Bizarro is dealing with being alone, and you'll know more about what I mean in a minute. This is the Comicstorian channel. I take comic books, I break them down into digestible bites, and this allows you to know what is going on so you know what to add to your collection. And this is going to be the continuation of the Red Hood webtoons series. Now that the heroes know that they're after Medusa and have a weapon to battle Medusa, it's time to see how they fare in their first Justice League battle. A little bit of time has passed and the Outlaws make their way to Greece to follow their lead to an unnamed tomb that was supposed to be the gateway to hell. But they quickly find out that their lead is a dead end. As the three look into the tomb, the tour guide tells them that this isn't what they're looking for. The tomb isn't even that old. Just some rich guy paid to be the first person buried here in like 3,000 years ago. Jason says that's impossible. He saw it in the globe. He saw everything. So Artemis asks, where is the nearest gate to hell then? The tour guide laughs, asking if she can really trust them. Aren't they supposed to be the bad guys? Bizarro tells her, we prevent more of our stories from being fake. We are trying to make more haunts, okay? With his backwards speak, it's very hard to understand what Bizarro is trying to state, but the tour guide does say fine. Pluto's Gate. It's in Turkey near Parmaluka. Jason scoffs, asking, why does everyone say that? And Artemis tells him that that's where they saw the first statues, which means they were sent on a wild goose chase coming over here, and they were betrayed. After boarding the jet and flying to where they need to go, Jason says that he saw things. He saw real things in the globe. Artemis tells him that he messed with something that he doesn't fully understand, something mystical, something bigger than him. Jason stops her. I was literally resurrected. Don't tell me about mystical stuff. And Artemis sighs, stating that she grew up here. She knows Ural and this stuff. If he didn't try to be so macho, they wouldn't be here. Jason says that he is just trying to lead the team, but Artemis says when do they have a leader with no powers? They really must be the Justice League, because that's exactly what Batman would do. Jason tells her not to do it, and the two grow quiet. Bizarro is the one to chime in. Don't look now. All people still here. As the plane lands, everyone gets out, and they look around at the empty fields. Jason asks, where is everyone? Oracle, let us know. Artemis says that she can't get the comms to work, and at that moment, a hooded woman begins to walk towards them. Suddenly, more hooded people begin to appear, and Bizarro says, that no super creepy. Soon, the people begin to quickly giggle, revealing the marks on their hands, and Artemis asks, what do we do now, leader? Jason says to wait until they get close enough to punch them. But through the crowd, Medusa steps out. Hey there. Got here a little earlier than I was expecting. Artemis tells her directly to just cut the speech. What's going on here? Before she can answer, Jason tells her, this is a waste of time, and he fires 3 shots at Medusa. Medusa shields herself from the bullets, laughing. Typical, no sense of drama, always cutting to the tragedy. She glares, smiling. Good thing tragedy is my specialty. You see, Medusa is no stranger to tragedy. In fact, she lived it as she was beheaded and used as a tool for mankind. Centuries went by as she sat alone in darkness until she was brought back by her sisters, only to see the world was just as pathetic as it was back then. All she needed to rebuild the world were a few loyalists. People who would listen to her every whim and not question her. As Jason, Artemis, and Bizarro find themselves surrounded by those few hundred loyalists, Artemis asks what does she get out of killing all of the innocent humans? Medusa laughs. A place in my new world. All right, well, we need to teach you a few new tricks, Jason tells her, and Medusa tells him, of course, lesson 1, set goals, like kill them. Bizarro quickly leaps into the air, releasing his heat breath. The Loyalists hold up their hands and block the attack with an invisible force field. Suddenly, the ground begins to rumble as Jason yells out that they should probably be getting out of here. The Loyalists all join hands and their arms begin to stretch out and wrap around one another. As all of the Loyalists begin to merge together, there's a flash, and suddenly a giant snake appears, hissing at the three outlaws. Bizarro grabs Jason and Artemis to fly away, but the giant snake grabs Bizarro by the leg with its tail, whipping him down, slamming him into the ground. When they look up, it isn't just Medusa they see, but it's also Uriel. Artemis asks why, and Uriel says that she is sorry, but family comes first. Medusa looks at them. That's right. No one can hear our names without thinking of brave, sweet, courageous Perseus and his majestic horse, a history defined by men. So today we will write our own. We will make our own mark on this world, and no man will stand in our way. Artemis stands up with her sword and shield. No man. But Medusa scoffs, asking, Don't you know yet? You're the key to all of this. We needed the blood of an immortal to open up the gates. Uriel then opens up a vial of blood that she collected from Artemis earlier on the shield, and she pours it onto the ground. Soon a ritualistic symbol begins to appear, and it begins to crack as Uriel says that she is sorry for doing this. Artemis looks back up. You can go to hell, and Medusa laughs. As you wish. The outlaws all sink into the hole when suddenly everything stops and they find themselves staring at the gates to hell. Artemis asks Jason if he has anything smart to say. Actually, this is kind of your territory, Artemis. Just call me if there's a robbery. The door begins to open and Artemis tells them all that she's sorry. Jason asks for what? And she tells him that she thought he'd already been here. Oh, no, easy mistake though, even though assuming is pretty rude. The gates of hell burst open and everyone prepares themselves for whatever is about to step out. Soon, a long, lanky demon steps out of the gates of hell, roaring, signaling for the door to shut. Jason asks, That it? This old thing? The demon begins to shriek, and Jason looks over to see Artemis falling to her knees, beginning to scream. She starts crying that she can see it now, that she wasn't good enough. She'll never be a great Amazon. She'll never be good enough for the two of them. She doesn't deserve to live forever. She's just a fake, a traitor. Jason looks at her. Why would you say that? But then he begins to feel the effects of the demon as well, falling into a pit of despair, hearing whispers, calling him a failure, a wasted second chance. No, I'm the fake. I'm the bad detective, a bad Robin, a worse friend. I'll never be what Batman trained me to be. Meanwhile, up above, back on the surface world, the giant snake is thrashing about as Medusa tells it that it's okay. They can rest now. The image of the snake begins to fade, leaving behind the loyalists who were used to summon it. And among them, a young boy that is crying. But down below, Jason screams for it to stop as Medusa bursts out laughing. Weak! You're all just fools, masquerading as Earth's protectors. Pathetic. Medusa gives the order for the demon to finish the job, and Bizarro stares at it. Get away from hell! Medusa asks what is he, but before she could get her answer, Bizarro launches himself into the air, breathing his fire and ice breath down on the demon, destroying it. As the smoke clears, Medusa asks, how did he? Me already not sad, never, now me not very angry. He then steps forward, but it's Uriel who shouts, telling him no. Use the reflective shield that she gave Artemis, and she turns it towards Medusa. As Medusa's body turns to stone, she cries out, asking her sister, why? Uriel says that the world has had enough pain, and then she falls to her knees as Bizarro thinks to himself, doesn't he know it? It's later, back in the Watchtower, that we see what Bizarro was going through, why the gates of hell didn't affect him, and what he referenced. You see, he goes through his medical scan, thinking about how he always has trouble with communication. He'll think one word, but he says the opposite. He backwards speaks. Even though it makes him feel trapped, his friends make it a little easier because they get it. But they also don't. As much as they love Bizarro, they still treat him differently, leaving him with all of his thoughts, only his thoughts. And lately, he's been having nightmares, but they're really just memories. And they've been coming during all times of the day. He's done horrible things in his past, senseless things, stupid things, and with senseless and stupid people. He couldn't stop himself. He was just so frustrated at the world that laughed at him, a world that didn't understand him. It ended horribly. The people who suffered were the only ones who knew what he was going through. Lois, what he would do for one more day with her in that world, in his Bizarro world, a world of his own creation, a world like theirs but not. The whole world was backwards. He knew he couldn't stay any longer than he had, and the more that he lingered, the more fake that it felt. It wasn't their fault, but he took it out on them anyway. Their memories haunt him every day, so he has to find ways to distract himself, to forget that world, the perfect world for him, the one with his love. As long as he is watching a movie, listening to music, or saving the world with his friends, he feels safe. He can really see the future with his friends. He just has to get out there without hurting them. Hopefully, they know how much he cares about them, because he can't tell them no matter how hard he tries. So it's the next day that the Outlaws go to the Lois Lane show to tell the people about their new ways. But their past of being the Outlaws doesn't do much to sway the audience in their favor, even though they're now Justice League members and they stopped Medusa. Not to mention Lois Lane herself deciding to mention some less than ideal comments on each member. It's after the taping that Jason says that he should probably never go on TV again, and Artemis says that she wholeheartedly agrees. But Bizarro? He can't shake the memories of his Lois when looking at this world's Lois. And he starts to laugh. The pain coming back, his love lost forever, the one woman who understood him, his backwards Lois. Jason looks at his suffering friend. Yo, bro, is everything okay? And Bizarro crushes his music player, and he forces out a smile. Me perfect. And that is the conclusion to their first big battle, and a rather sad moment for Bizarro. You never really think about this version of Bizarro and what he must have to go through, because the fact is, he is alone. No one truly understands him. They try, but they don't really get it. Let me know in the comments down below what you feel about Bizarro's situation, and make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as this story about Red Hood in the Webtoons world is going to be continuing tomorrow right here at Comicstorian. Thank you guys so much for your continued support, and I'll see you next time right here.